Mm.
And this is back before like the internet was a really big thing. You couldn't just surf the internet. Kindles weren't invented. Like, I couldn't like read on my phone. That wasn't a thing. And so I was like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book and then I'm gonna hand him a manuscript and be like, this is how bored I've been at this job. I'm this bored.
Welcome tonight. We have Becky Monson here, and she has written some super, super fun books. I know you're going to love it. Please go to my website, sign up for my newsletter. If you haven't, you'll get a free book. And also remember, Maggie and Max is on audiobook, and you are going to love it. Now, I'm really excited to introduce Becky Monson. Becky, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I'm
I'm so
excited.
excited. We've been trying to get together for a while, so,
Yes, yes.
you know, it's great. So, I would love for you to tell my readers about yourself and your books, how you got into writing, just anything you want to tell us.
Yeah, so I never wanted to be a writer. I actually have done everything. I've been an esthetician. I went to school for marketing. I got into some accounting. I could go on and on about things. I was like, it'd probably be easier if you asked me what I haven't done. I've never been a lawyer or a doctor. Those are. I did work in construction. Like I've done everything. So,
Wow, okay.
I kept getting bored and changing jobs. And so I actually had a job where I was working as a project manager in construction, and I was so bored because we didn't have a lot of work to do. And so I'd go and ask my boss, like, what do we have today? Or what do we have in the docket this week? And he'd be like, oh, not really anything. So it's kind of just getting paid to sit at a desk. It was awful. And this is back before like the internet was a really big thing. You couldn't just surf the internet. Kindles weren't invented. Like, I couldn't like read on my phone. That wasn't a thing. And so I was like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book and then I'm gonna hand him a manuscript and be like, this is how bored I've been at this job. I'm this bored. And I never ended up doing it because I ended up leaving the job. I was just so bored and went and to be an esthetician. And then so I started writing this book and I had this idea, and every time I think about it, I get like butterflies, like kind of like when you dating a guy for the first time. It was that kind of feeling, like I get so excited about it. And so I'd write and then I'd read it and I'd be like, oh, that's terrible. And then I was married, and no, I'm still married. I was married to my husband then, and then I ended up getting pregnant after some fertility issues, and I was so sick. And then so I wouldn't write. I couldn't get in that mode. And then afterwards, I'd be breastfeeding and dealing with new baby and everything. And then I'd finally get back to the manuscript, and I'd be like, this is trash. And so I so I or start all over again writing it. And I did this process for a while. So when everybody's like, how long did it take you to write your first book? I was like, I don't even know, probably 8 years at least.
Years.
Um, and then I gave up. I was like, I don't know, I'm never gonna try to find an agent. I'm never gonna try to do any of that. And I actually had a friend, my cousin, actually, her best friend was self-publishing. And she told me about it. And I was like, oh, I could do that.
Feels
And that would
easy.
be like a one and done. I'm gonna write a book. I'll be able to say I wrote a book. And I put it out there. It was poorly edited. And I think, like 50 friends and family bought it or whatever. And that was it. It was great. I was done. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then Amazon was like, I was in the beginning. So when this is just starting, so 2013, the golden age started in like 2011 of self-publishing. So I was on right there at the beginning. And Amazon just like took a liking to the book and started like pushing it for free. And I was like, what's
Wow.
happening?
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this is all okay. Okay. So then I got the idea to write another book. And then here we are. I'm just finished my 17th book. And I got this bug. I tell people all the time it's the longest I've ever stuck with a job. So we'll see if I
It must be good.
mean it. Yeah. I mean, I'm a busy mom of three. I've got three kind of in the throes of motherhood. They're all teenagers, and it's go, go, go all the time with them. And so it is really the perfect job to have where I can take some time for myself and like kind of live in another world for a little bit and then go back to my real world and all my responsibilities and things that I have to do. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's so fun. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people read to escape, and Sounds
Yeah,
like you write to escape, and that
I
is
do.
fabulous.
Except sometimes it's, torture to write, as you well know. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I do suffer for my art. It is not easy. Like, I wish
Oh,
it was.
yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, you well know, you'll sit down and it'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at this. And you're writing and it's amazing. And then the next day you'll be like, I'm terrible at this. Why am I still doing this?
There's this quote, I think it's by Ernest Hemingway. He says, I don't like to write. I like having written.
Yes, yes,
Yes, this is me.
yes. That is totally me. Just because
Well,
of the ups and downs of writing. If I could sit down and just
yes.
words float from my fingers and I feel good about them at the end of the day and go to bed feeling, I'd be great. But it's so, you're just up and down, up and down. Like,
So up and
hate it.
down.
I
And
love it. I love it.
yeah.
So one of the things I do is I actually will go and read books that I loved with like all my heart. I'll go read the negative reviews and I'll be like, okay, see, not everybody, it always makes me feel better because I'm like, I loved this book and you're totally wrong. And so, I mean, like they can be wrong about my book or they can be right in their own world, but that sometimes
That's a
helps.
great trick. I have never thought of that. I don't read my reviews at all because
Oh, that's
well,
yeah.
my negative reviews, but that's a great idea. So
I just go like,
what are a couple books that you just love that you go and read
oh,
negative
I
reviews?
like Edenbrook. I love Edenbrook.
Oh,
That's my comfort read. I read it all the time. I listen to it, even though I don't love the narrator on that one, but I don't care. I just love that book. And yeah, and then there's scathing reviews on there. And I'm like, well, I get it now. We all don't have the same taste, which, if we all had the same taste, it'd be a boring world. So I'm grateful that we don't have the same taste, but it makes me feel better because I'm like, okay, yeah.
well, so tell us about the book that we're going to be talking about today, the not boyfriend material.
Yeah, yes. So Jennifer Peel and I, if you haven't heard of her, we write kind of the same genre. You know Jennifer, obviously. But we write in the same genre and we do these kind of crossover books where we write in this same fictional town called Aspen Lake, which is basically like Lake Tahoe. And so kind of the surrounding cities will be similar to Lake Tahoe. And anyway, so we write in this little city all the time. And she wrote a book where there was a doctor that worked at this the only hospital they have there. It's a very small town. And then she introduced this nurse in there. And then the nurse is, I wrote her story. So you don't have to read them together. It's just kind of fun because it's like they pop into each other's stories.
Huh.
And so yeah, so she wrote that when it came out at Christmas time. This one was supposed to come out at Christmas time, but because of life. It didn't come out until April, I think, last in 2024. But yeah, it's just like she's a nurse and he's a doctor and they actually know each other. He he was her brother's former best friend, so they had like a falling out. And they're just kind of becoming reacquainted after all these years. And then she's been kind of a rut because she had an accident 10 years prior, a car accident that kept her from her scholarship for swimming. And so she's been kind of a rut ever since, just kind of living her life. And her friend puts her in, like, gives her this challenge, like New Year, because it comes out in January, which is a good time for this. New Year, new you. Like, I'm going to give you a daily challenge that you have to do to kind of get out of yourself. And he catches wind of it and he wants in. So then it becomes like a competition and she's super competitive. Anyway, it's just a fun, like, you
Cute.
know, cute romance. And then you watch as their, friendship changes into something else. But yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
that was one of the ones that we're talking about. That was really fun to write. I had a great time writing it. No stress. This last book I just finished was all stress, every bit of it.
Oh, was it the same contemporary
No,
romance?
this one, yes, but still a crossover book with Jennifer Peel. But this one is like there this Pride and Prejudice park basically in London where you go and reenact the scenes of Pride and Prejudice and like live in that world. And so anyway, so both of our characters go to this Pride and Prejudice park. And so yeah, there's some crossover from that. But
Oh,
yeah, that's
cute.
one. But that was hard because I realized how much I do not know about Pride and Prejudice, even though it's like one of my favorite stories ever. But I was like, I did. That one was a struggle, but yeah, you could not buy for material. It was just a really fun book to write, really fun story. And yeah, it's been fun. So anyway, yeah, that's the book I was going to give away.
That's so
So that
great.
way, yeah,
So fun. Well,
yeah,
okay, we're almost done because
yeah,
this goes so fast.
yeah, it
Do
does.
you have a favorite romantic movie that you would recommend to people?
Oh, okay. So I love The Holiday. That's my favorite.
Oh,
I watch it every Christmas, and I almost missed this Christmas, but I did end up seeing it. Um, I just love it. I love the dynamics. I love the stories. It's just adorable. And Jude Law, I mean, he's just so handsome.
well, and Jack Black. I just love Jack
I
Black.
know,
He's
right? I know.
so
And
cute.
it's funny because if you read about it, because I love this movie forever, she wrote the movie like with these people in mind. Like
Oh,
she wanted,
really?
yeah, actors to play. And so it was interesting because Jack Black at the time was like this jokester playing like these funny, to put him in like a romantic lead. She just had this vision and he nailed it. He was
Oh,
amazing. He was amazing.
yes.
But I also love While You Were Sleeping. That's a classic. That's
Oh
so,
my heck. That is like my favorite. I love
yes,
the movie.
I love
So
that movie.
cool.
I really just love those. Just feel good movies at the end where you're like, and that, honestly, The Holiday was kind of a push for me to write because I'm like, I want to create stories like this for people. I want to give them the same feeling I'm having right now. This, like, just, full of like romance and love and laughing and all the emotions brought into. And I was like, so yeah, they really do inspire us, these movies.
Oh,
So,
yes, absolutely. While you were sleeping, so we had the video of that. And that really was like, I love Sandra Bullock. I love
yeah.
Bill Pullman. And so I would, this is when we had the video, all my kids were in school. I would just take like half hour a day and just watch my favorite parts.
Yes.
I watched that one so much. Okay.
So much, I know. We do that with books too, where you'll skim to the just the parts you want to read. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
so true.
that's so awesome.
Oh, okay. Well, here's your last question.
Okay.
You're stuck on a desert island. What three things would you want to have with you?
Oh gosh. Okay. My Kindle for sure, because I could keep myself entertained.
Yes.
Um, and then Milk Duds, because I will never turn down Milk
You
Duds.
love milk duds.
I
Okay.
do.
That is a
I
really
know.
interesting fact. I can think
Oh,
of
and then
about 500 other candies I'd rather have.
right, I know. Everybody's like, Milk Duds, gross. For a long time, it was hot tamales, but then I just got over two sh like really sugary things. So yeah, Milk Duds. And then I'm trying to think of my third one. I was like joking around. I bring Henry Cavill, but but I probably should say my family.
Yeah, well, you probably should. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, we'd probably fight a lot, so I don't know.
Well, as long as they let you be the boss and then,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
have my Kindle to keep me company when they're getting
Yeah.
on my nerves.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Oh, I love that. Well, Becky, it's been so much fun. Readers, please go check out Not Boyfriend Material. It sounds darling, and it sounds like once you read that one, you'll want to read all of Becky's books.